I do believe that the music has ended. So that means we've got the one. Hey, all right. Videos pretty much on me. All right. And then we don't have the two today. Bwomp, bwomp, because oh, habits. I went to that one. Because it's like winter and the sickness thing is going around and Dan wasn't feeling too good and his throat's scratchy, so it's not good to talk when you're sick and stuff. But anyway, we are still welcoming you back to the Truther Cast here, home of the Truther Cast. And I at minimum, with the solo-ness, the no sidekick man, the no Danosaurus, himself here. I am still here at least at minimum to take your truth orders, folks. So if you are showing up on here in the live chat, please sound off. Let me know that the vidya and the microphone is a coming in all right there for you. If you are new to the show, thank you for swinging on by. Hopefully I can keep your attention for more than 3 to 15 seconds. That would be sweet. But thanks for coming on in. If you're not familiar, I and usually we with my co-host Mr. Dan are attempting to not just be two or one more people out here on the internet bitching and moaning about things, but what we are here trying to do is help you build a better news feed. If you stumbled upon me, you probably got a decent news feed yourself there, but we go through last week's informational news tidbits, the alternate information that, the mainstream media is lying to us about or maybe not covering at all. And the idea is to highlight the people I find these news tidbits from. And then, you can go and follow them yourself or help somebody else out, but that way you can build a better news feed, man, because I've been talking about all this alt news stuff for way too long. And in the recent years, people, are more open to it. So I talk about it almost every day with random blokes that come in, for some tech repair needs at my business. And, we'll get into things, but they always ask me, how do you know about this stuff, man? How do you know? How do you find it? And the answer I finally came up with, folks, after a couple years of not having an answer, is it's just my news feed. So if you want to find more thingies, make sure that you pay attention throughout the show here. I'll tell you who to follow. I'll show you a nice little website, too, where you can pull up the people that I would recommend you follow and build a better news feed for yourself or maybe a loved one. Maybe it's mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin. Grab their phone and start following some people and whatever, social media that they are in. If they're older, it's probably just Facebook. And, pull it up, follow them, and then build them a better news feed. But if you need help with that, too, you can just send them on over to me. Because not only will I help with their tech stuff, but, I could help them build the better news feed or show them how to use the appies. But like I was saying, my company, Revival Tech, is a good way to help your loved ones not be frustrated at the computers, or build a better news feed if they're like-minded and stuff like that. But you can send them on over or maybe buy them for a holiday gift to the Broken website. No, it's fixed. Cool. To the signup.toleratetech.com. That link is in the description box down below. You can share that over to a loved one if you like. But this is one way to help keep the lights on around here. And if you go over to signup.toleratetech.com, oh, that's broken. You can sign up for my Tolerate Tech system. Oh, here we go with all the awesome 5-star reviews of my company. This is a protection and support system for people that have a computer and they use it more than once or twice a month. It's just something you need nowadays, man. So go over here to the signup.toleratetech.com, link in the description box, and, sign up. I'll help you out. And what's cool about that is you'll get a like-minded tech guy to help you stay protected and stay not pissed off at your computer throughout the year. And it's a much better life, I'm told. All the 5-star people say, look how many 5 stars I got. I'm up to 536 reviews. Hot dang! All right, man. And that is all to my marketing software for my business. If you got a small business, I can also help you out. Hit me up. Got a whole marketing business, and the software is sweet because it automatically sends them and asks for a review, which is like getting more and more popular with small business, but just like the big damn businesses do. And that's how I get all these reviews and stuff. But that's a good way to help me keep the lights on around here at the show, because to this day, my Revival Tech company is the only sponsor. So that's the only way that we're doing this here, folks. So signup.toleratetech.com. Link in the description box down below. But there is a free way that Dan, being a frugal man himself, I'm very frugal as well, but he loves to tell you about it. The free way here to help out is just to make sure that you share the show. You just want to make sure that you don't be a hoe and you share that show, we say, folks. We got that from the great Andy Frisella himself, which Mr. Andy Frisella finally dropped that new MFCEO podcast project, and he bait and switched us. It's not MFCEO. He thought that'd be like, going back, like a back step or something. I listened to the first episode. Yeah, I did sign up. I'm a Andy Frisella sucker, and maybe it's not something I sign up for forever, but signed up because it's now going to be a primo squad, so we won't have all the free plebs in there, but it is called the Operator something. I keep forgetting this. Standard? Is it Operator Standard? Operator. I don't even got the name right up in the appy, but anyway, Andy Frisella, the great Andy Frisella, man, he coined the whole don't be a hoe, share the show, right? Operator Standard. That's what he's calling the new thing. I don't even know if you can pull it up on the search yet, man. It's like fresh out right now. Operator Standard. Oh, they do got it, folks. They do got it. If you got a small business and you're looking for an accountability group and whatever software tech this man's trying to provide, here, just type in Operator Standard. And then check out his, his VSL video here at the top. He'll break it all down for you, folks. But they've got all the goods of a good sales system. If you need help building one of these for your company, I can help you out too. But if you got a small business, man, you might want to sign up for the Operator Standard, because they're hitting you with the scarcity and they're saying 7 days and they're going to close the sign up. So that's interesting. We'll never open again. Like, you can only get in now for like 7 days, and that's all. That's gotta be a mislead you a little bit there to create some scarcity. The alleged most popular for a thing that's never been out yet is this. Oh, marketing and their tactics. Hot dang. If you're big balling, man, you can get into that inside circle, for $25,000 or $250,000. God bless America. All right. Well, interesting. But yeah, free way to help out, just to share that show out, folks. And then yeah, okay. Wilkins saying back in the chat, thanks again for showing on up there. Can't wait to drop a casual $250K. No big deal, right? Mr. Dieter in the private chat, where are you at in the live show, brother? Gotta come on over to the live show, man. But yeah, we can get on into it, folks. Here, the regular shtick here. We're gonna go to the locals community, which you can get to by going. Where is it? Where's my? It's like a join button a little bit below this here URL on the screen. You hit that join button, it'll bring you over to the locals community, where for free you can sign up. You could also just use your Rumble, so you keep it on one user account. Got to get another username and password and yada yada. But you sign up for the locals for free. You can come hang out. It's a semi-private community that's not big tech censored. We're all kind of calming down with the worried about censored stuff lately. But it was a big deal. Nothing more than like what, a week ago or something like that, or a year ago. But it's a non-big tech censored platform where you can hang out for free. Check out all of my postings throughout the week that we go over here on the show weekly. And then, if you would like, you can sign up for the Truther Triber Primo Squad. You can sign up, and then you could comment and post throughout the week and help me build the show for the week, So check that out. Hit that join. You can sign up for free. You don't have to pay. But if you would like another way to keep the lights on, you can just donate me monies if you felt like it. But more value, sign up for that Truth or Triber Primo Squad. And then, you'll get into the Primo Squad. I said it a million times, right? But let's get on into it here, folks. The first one I had pulled up is starting out hot with a nice misspelling. Wheel judges rule? Let's fix it live here, man. What is this one? Wheel judges? The deep state judges. There we go. No. It was the good ones. It was just So the good judges, they ruled that the redistricting over in Texas was cool to go through. So Miss Jasmine Crockett, or Yasmin, Jasmine Crockett is now officially going to be removed as a representative. So she was in Congress, right? So she's going to be removed, and now she's immediately starting the promotion of her running for senator in 2026. So, hey, man, we're all about, equal representation in the law and whatnot. But this Jasmine Crockett kind of seems kind of more like the new school, AOC, where she talks a lot less about policy and a lot more like about empty platitudes. So, she fits the Democrat marker very well. She's just kind of like, new age, social media, kind of congressional representative or something. So it's an interesting world that we're moving into, folks, now that us old millennials, are around 40. We got D1 Dog. What's up, bro? School just ended, so I plan to... Oh, Mr. Dieter. Heck yeah, man, Mr. Dietz. Thanks for showing up in the live chat. School's done, huh, man? You do good in that welding class? You get an A learning how to weld with robots and stuff, man. That's one of those jobs where I'm like, man, I wish I could just like go and like play robot welder for a while. Like maybe I don't want to do it forever because I'm too spazzy, right? You got to do something different, but sounds like a pretty dope job, man. All right, 97.5. Way to be good at school, Mr. Dietz. Good job, man. Yeah, I'd love to have you back on the show, bro. We've been missing your insights and stuff like that, bro. Ooh, man, I don't know how late you're staying up here, bro, but I do have a little bit of the ongoing Candace Owens saga. And I was citing you last week that you were more onto her side kind of thing, and like, feeling like what she was saying was legit and da. I'm not like trying to discredit her because I'm open to everything, and I used to be a real big, Candace Owens follower, but her and Tim Pool are now getting heated in the social media space, and they're going back and forth. And Tim Pool, for whatever reason, man, is getting annoyed by all of her grandiose statements and whatnot. But what's interesting now, where is it then? Maybe I'll just skip to it if you're going to pass out soon here. Yeah, we'll jump down to this one here. So I said, it sure is crazy that Candace claims there's a mega serious, gigantic, high-end national assassination plot. Like, France, like the story last week was, allegedly somebody text messaged her and said, oh, the France military, or maybe, like Bridget Macron herself and Mr. Macron, the president man, they put a hit out on her, right? And so there's a full big assassination attempt, and we haven't heard her cite of any attempts of this. But Mr. Tim Pool, as soon as he starts talking about Candace, all of a sudden he's got multiple shots fired over at the studio. And he's had his mix of assassination attempts, actually, so maybe Candace has had a bunch too, just like all the, the big conservative media people right now, which very strange. We don't hear a lot of violence coming out of the, internet news left wing talking space, but it sure is getting like more and more on the right wing media talking space. Now, of course, you don't want to just be going around telling everybody that's going on, because then it kind of like, you get copycatters, it'll kind of like brings more heat on you if you talk more about it. So I do understand that. So maybe that's why we're not hearing about it from the left. But now that it's getting more ridiculous, the right is actually saying, hey, if we don't talk about this at all, then the people don't know what's happening. I agree. So Tim Pool's been talking more about it, and then Mr. Benny Johnson was talking more about it too, where he's actually had to move 3 times now because of the violence in the area, or people found out where he lived or something, and he got a wife and like 3-4 kids. But he had a couple here that he just kind of clipped the response from Tim Pool about the shots being fired on his house.
What's up, guys? It has been a year of heightened and accelerating political violence. I'm getting kind of sick of this. There's been a lot of rhetoric that has been thrown around carelessly, a lot of lies, and it is getting people killed. Charlie Kirk murdered on camera, blaming them for Tim gets. This is the property commentator, real world party wants out. Political is how Tim's.
Doesn't have the scrub. What is this one? Maybe it was another video that was playing. I thought this one had some this clips from Tim's response. Yeah, but it is basically what I was saying before. Okay, he's got some of his posts. Yeah, man, Tim Pool was swatted 15 times in 1 year, had the bomb squad at the studio twice, had to evacuate for 3 hours during the show. Last year, a man in a dress attacked one of the employees at their old location. Now they have armed guards and da-da-da-da-da. So again, Tim Pool's talking about possibly shutting down the whole IRL show, which he was like one of the most popular, biggest news shows, during the like election season. Like now that it's calmed down, it's like dropped down a little bit. It was this video? Okay, yeah. I don't know where the heck the Tim Pool clips are, but yeah, there was like little excerpts from the Tim response, but you get the point. But my half serious, half joke, man, is basically, so Candace is got a giant hit on her head and she don't got no stories. But then as soon as Tim Pool starts kind of clapping back and kind of pushing on Candace, being like, hey man, bring the facts, like let's see what this is. And just you keep saying like, oh, I've had these facts and misleading statements. It's hard for me to believe that you do have factual information about the Charlie Kirk assassination or the attempted alleged, hit on Candace, when she kind of makes these posts that are misleading, where she said, hey, the show's going to be shut down this week. And then, oh, by the way, there's a hit on my head. When now that makes people think that she's shutting the show down because of the hit on her head, right? When really it was just, oh, it's Thanksgiving week and they're taking the week off for Thanksgiving because these, online talking heads are doing well enough to take an entire week off. But so like, why would she do that? So Tim's argument is that she's just kind of gone away from newscaster and more to, true crime drama, hype builder, which, is a smart thing to do for marketing, right? But, if we are to expect, it's all about expectations. We are to expect that Candace is continuing the same style of, content and what she does from, Daily Wire, where most of us found her. It's a little bit disingenuous now, but, hey, maybe she's just shifting because, the Bridget McCrone being a man thing. Hey, that's kind of like, haha, funny, or maybe interesting, or a big expose where it'd be like, wow, why was she lying the whole time? Or, hey, what's going on with that couple over in France? If one of them's, a transgender, but, hey, that's acceptable now in society. And is it progressing, saving America? Not really. It's more like, an excitement story or something like that, right? So Tim was pushing back on her, and now it's just kind of interesting that all of a sudden, there's 3 shots at the studio. My joke, I didn't post it yet, but if anybody's like deep into this inside baseball BS, if you know Milo Yiannopoulos, he's a crazy, crazy account that's been banned a bunch of times. But he was on the show recently, and then all of a sudden there were shots at the studio. I don't know, man. I don't know. Milo was the one that was on with Ye when he did the Tim Pool show, and he got all mad and like got up and dipped out. I mean, the MK Ultra 2.0 is definitely around these days, right, bro? Yeah. Yeah, what FBI story? The FBI story on Charlie Kirk, or I hate that everyone just moved on like her, and it's crazy, all the things she's found. Yeah, like moved on the Charlie Kirk thing. I know, dude. Like, man, life's complicated, right, dude? It's like, hey, I don't feel like it's figured out there, but the higher up said, hey, we're good, we're done. So what are we gonna do? I guess, right? Like, god dang, man. But I do feel like there are some funny things around the Charlie Kirk assassination, and it is weird that we're not getting more information out of that. But god dang, just like man, shoot, I don't even think I shared it, man, because it was like, kind of developing or just starting, so I didn't think it was too meatful for the show. But I believe it was the Butler assassination attempt on Trump. They just got information now that he was not acting alone, like the FBI actually announced it. But then like a day before, Kash Patel was on an interview and he was asked, is this the guy? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. So it's all over, bro. And like, I still want to believe in Mr. Kash Patel just because of the little interview thingies that I watched before he turned into the FBI director. And I want to believe Mr. Dan Bonajingo from listening to, Mr. Bongino's content and blah, blah, blah. But now a lot of us are pretty, skeptical on their job right now, but they're doing the best they can, blah, blah, blah. And if we will believe they were good guys, and if we believe they're on Team America, the lies they're telling us are definitely because their hands are tied. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't know if it's like I'm softening in my old age and not, holding the feet to the fire to the government official man or what. But, man, we got to go with what we got to go with, I guess, man. Yes, Dan Bonajingo is definitely spelled with a J. Yeah, man. The narrative, bro. It's tricky, man. Got to go with the narrative, but that's what we're about here on the Truthcast, right? It's trying to sift through it all and figure the hay out and whatnot, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. A bummer narrative here this week, man, is I saw that the deep state judge that blocked or that came in and said that Trump's appointments are illegal, that he did them in the wrong way. Apparently, this one is going to go ahead and make waves against us, as now we have word that Alina Habba is going to go ahead and step down from her duties as U.S. Attorney's Office. Yeah, I think she was AG, Attorney General for New Jersey. And Miss Pam Bondi was making a post here saying that, she's sad to see Alina have to step down there. And it is a huge bummer, man, and it is a loss for MAGA because Miss Alina Habba is a pretty spicy Trump lawyer that we've liked a lot of what she was saying during the, campaign and before that. So definitely a bummer, man. Miss Alina having to step down. No good. No good. Not a lot of wins this week, I don't think. It was a little bit less. Oh, well, here is a big win. In the tech world, the right to repair is a very, very big deal. And I believe it's this guy I follow that I learned a whole lot of motherboard repair from, Mr. Lewis Rossman. I believe the right to repair started before John Deere, but it got picked up bigger because people just weren't caring about consumer electronic right to repair. So it got picked up a lot bigger in the news cycle or actual legislation when all the farmers jumped on. So long story short, folks, if you're not familiar with right to repair, the right to repair bill was passed first for automobiles, and it, like the phrase says, it's about having the right to repair things, right? So right to repair for automobiles was, hey, you got to have these like how to fix things and schematics, and people got to be able to like fix their cars, right? Well, unfortunately, that law was written for combustible engines. So dang it, loopholes in the law, doesn't cover anything to do with electronics. So, like electronic cars, Tesla, and is there any other ones? But electrical cars without combustible engine do not apply under the existing right to repair automobile law. So they don't have to release the schematics or the how to repairs and stuff like that. And so likewise, this got huge with the electronics in the John Deere farming machines. So big combines and tractors and whatnot, right? And so John Deere has become notorious in the repair community because they started doing that, evil genius business practice of, in order to fix your tractor, it's got to get, electronically verified with the system. So I can't just go in and like change some part because then it breaks like a security system. So it only can be fixed by certified John Deere repairmen. And then they can run a special electronic tool that then certifies the machine to operate. This is how Apple started trying to do things. And thanks bees to Mr. Lewis Rossman and the, electronics, MacBoard, motherboard repairing community. He has gone like above and beyond, and he's showed up in different states for legislation and blah, 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 blah. And we've pushed back on Apple's ability to stop repair entirely. They make it very difficult. But Mr. Lewis Rossman and the community around right to repair have now passed right to repair for electronics, actual bills legislation, and I believe we're at 3 states now. Now we're trying to get it into more, obviously, but hey, if we could just circumvent each state and go straight to the Fed, that could be a help, or maybe the Fed pushes for these state legislations so that we do have independent state legislation, because as we've learned over the years here, the Fed's got a lot of pull, but hey, man, the way the states are set up, the way that the United States Republic is set up, the states' rules are very important individually as well, right? So Mr. Trump now is talking about right to repair for the farmers. Mr. Trump likes being on the side of the farmers, right? People's people, man. If you're liking the farmers, and hey, we got to eat somehow, right? So let's listen to this one.
To the tariffs, this is possible. The other thing I'd like to add before going to Scott, and I think it's very important, we're going to also give the tractor companies, John Deere and all of the companies that make the equipment, we're going to take off a lot of the environmental restrictions that they have on machinery. It's ridiculous. I know, because I buy a lot of that machinery for different things. We have a lot of big clubs with, hundreds, thousands of acres. And I buy a lot of stuff, and you buy it, it's got so much equipment on it for the environmental, it doesn't do anything, except it makes the equipment much more expensive and much more complicated to work, and it's not as good as the old days. And we're going to take a lot of that nonsense off of the equipment, which is going to reduce, and we're going to do it, and we're going to say you're going to reduce the prices. We're not going to do it, and they're not going to reduce. They're going to have to reduce their prices because farming equipment has gotten too expensive. And a lot of the reason is because they put these environmental excesses on the equipment, which don't do a damn thing except make it complicated, make it impractical. And you really have to be, in many cases, you need about 185 IQ to turn on a lawnmower now. So we're going to take that off, that crap off that they put on Biden mostly. And we're going to take that off. So that's going to make that'll bring down the equipment prices.
Right. That also jacks prices, having unnecessary electronics. It also creates more freaking e-waste, man. I was reminded this week that Apple is, as usual, a completely hypocritical and deceitful company. And the majority of their green recycling of phones, they just shred those phones, man. They're not like repurposing them to, like, you know, broke people down in Africa or something. They're not reusing these parts in different electronics. They shred them and then bare minimum, like bare bones, recycle them. So better than like throwing it in the trash, but they're actually not doing anything more than what you and I can do. And take it to the electronics recycle yard, the Boone County Highway yard. If you're local in the Rockford area, that's where you take your electronics. But the best way to repurpose your old cell phone, keep it as a backup, wipe it, hand it down to a, you know, kid, family member, friend, or something like that. You can bring it into to me, Revival Tech, you know, Rockford. I'll put a new battery in it. You can repurpose it, reuse it, man. The recycling thing doesn't really work really great, so we should probably be reusing these damn electronics. So more wasted electronics is not a good idea, man. So right to repair, man, real big important thing, I think, for just the ability to repair your own device. Like if you have an Apple device and you bring it into me and I replace the battery, it has a notification that pops up to scare you, and it says, oh, we can't certify this as a Tim Apple part, you know? And then the customer goes, wait, did you put a bad battery in this phone? I said, no. It's just a notification saying it can't verify it's an Apple part. So like if you reread it, it doesn't say it verified it's a bad part. It just says it can't verify it's an Apple part. Even when I do use Apple original OEM batteries, it has to be remarried with a special Apple software that only the Apple store has, or it was Apple certified stores, but now I think those are all gone. Best Buy actually pulled out of the Apple certified program, and they don't repair nothing no more. They send it all out to Apple or some other center, right? So actually, coming to me is the fastest, lowest cost way to get your Apple devices fixed now. Otherwise, you got to drive an hour out to Schaumburg and be probably lied to and forced into buying a whole new product instead of just fixing your phone or MacBook or something like that, man. So in the game of cat and mouse, I now have learned how to cut the brains off the old battery in the iPhone, and then I micro weld them onto a new battery and then put it all back together so that notification doesn't pop up. So why in the hell does Apple do that? Why don't they just have like a repair, you know, system in the phone, and then, you know, the user can type in their username and password, and then the phone does a verification system of like checking, hey, everything was okay, and the user did their password, so they authorized and authenticated it's okay to do a check, and now everything's all good. Why can't the user just say like, nah, I went to a store and the store said they're good, boom, done? Or why isn't there like a $10 a month program? I'd sign up for that. And now they can vet my business, and then I'll have a login that certifies the part that was all good and everything's okay. And so it's annoying, folks. It pisses me off, man. I got to deal with it all the time because I don't even put OEM Apple batteries in the iPhones no more. This third-party company that I buy from, that's a mobile parts distributor, their batteries are 1,000,000 times better than the Apple OEM batteries. And they're better quality. They don't do the blow up, bloaty thingy ever, and they're extended. So they're a little bit bigger than the original, you know, battery was. So, man, right to repair. Mr. Trump talking about that for the farmers. Really big deal, folks, and possibly a really big deal for the electronics right to repair. So let us all make sure to pay attention to those and share them out if you see them, man. You got to share it out. Don't be a ninny. Don't be lazy. Don't be the things that are not good. Be a good thing on your feed and your friends' feed, and make sure you share these things out, folks. Make it a sure. And if it's not coming up in your feed, you need a better news feed, man. Why aren't you following me? You can follow me over on the X at MassStash. 3 S's in a row, 4 in the whole word, at MassStash. But that's where I'll be posting most of this stuff that I'm throwing on the locals. What do we got next here, folks? Here we got a valuetainment as well as a random one. This one actually got put on my radar by Wilkinsane in the chat. So thank you very much, Wilkinsane, for playing the game of truth or cast alt news, because coincidentally, after I watched the video that she sent me, I then came across this valuetainment video. So let's watch the one that she sent me first. So this is about 50 Cent, who seems to have a personal vendetta out against Diddy, okay? So in this crazy world of AI, neither of us are 100% sure that this is actually 50 Cent's voice, okay? But it seems more realistic after watching the Valuetainment clip. So let's watch this first one here.
Worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, and by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back. You guys don't need to worry.
Like, all right, bro. Yeah, man. Like, pretty much, it's pretty damn undeniable that Mr. Diddy is not a good dude. So, Mr. 50 Cent coming at him, bro. I'm all for it, man. I'm here, man. How about y'all in the live chat? What do you think about that, man? Y'all gonna watch this 50 Cent, Diddy documentary? Yeah, bro, 50 is as gangster as it gets, right, D1, man? Man, I would have to agree. Mr. 50 Cent is the original G-Unit kind of gangster, right? Especially if you're a millennial. You surely grew up during the big 50 Cent boom. But let's check out what Mr. PBD over here at the Valuetainment, or what was it, the PBD podcast? But yeah, let's check out a couple things that they were highlighting that make me feel like, yeah, no, that wasn't just AI. Yeah, right. Like, even if it's not his voice, I think what it was saying was true. Like, maybe somebody like 50 Cent voice AI'd that just to make content for their channel or something, right? But I do believe it's real, right? So even if it's not him, listen to this stuff, Wilkinson. Check this out.
50 Cent has been working on this documentary for almost 2 years.
Oh, that's what that clip was talking about for 2 years. That's right. Duh.
The footage he has is insane. The people he got speaking about Diddy is ridiculous. And on top of that, the only place he agrees to do the interview, Rob, if you can show this, he goes and interviews with ABC. And there's an Instagram post he put up, Rob. I don't know if you have that or not. If you go on his Instagram account, he goes and does the interview about Diddy's documentary on ABC.
Why ABC, huh? So then this one also proves that Mr. 50 is getting maniacal about this documentary operation.
ABC, and they say the reason why he did it on ABC, it's that one right there, Rob, the one you had it on, is because ABC news station is one of only few stations they're allowed to watch in prison. With that smile. So he wants Diddy to know the world is watching you and what you did. So in a documentary, there's a couple things I'll share with you guys on what I took away from it. But Rob, maybe share the clip on how he got access to some of the footage of the documentary.
We gotta pull up where to watch this documentary at after this clip here.
Is this the one, Rob?
Yep.
Go for it.
How did you get that footage of Diddy?
I figured most journalists would not disclose their sources.
Does he know y'all have this in the doc?
I would doubt he knows.
So when this airs, that'll be the first time that his legal team, Diddy, that everybody knows that this footage is now seeing the light of day. Perhaps.
Combs' team firing back in a statement to NBC News, saying the Netflix so-called documentary is a shameful hit piece and that they relied on stolen footage that was never authorized for release. His team sending a cease and desist to Netflix.
So that doesn't mean it's not true.
Of course.
But they relied on stolen footage, okay, is what they relied on. And then they ask about the history of 50 and him, issue that they've had. What's the one you just pulled up, Rob?
This is where they talk about the feud, and then I also have 50 Cent talking about Diddy's reaction to the documentary.
Yeah, that's so funny. That is so funny.
This is great, dude. I'm here for this Diddy documentary. Hell yeah.
I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
She can't even hold it.
Because you'll see people saying that. I mean, he may feel a different way about pieces and bits of it, but he knows the truth. I think he'll see the truth in it.
Okay, have you seen it?
I saw the first 10 minutes and I'm like, first of all, I swear to you, I had no idea it was 50s because the footage is very personal in the beginning where he's talking to his lawyer in a hotel room live. The person's recording it, and then across from him in the building, there's cops looking at the hotel room because I guess there was a warrant. Yeah, this is basically like that scene. But let me ask you a question, Pat. I don't want you to have to give it away for people that haven't seen it.
Yeah, bro. He definitely messed up asking 50 to go shopping, right? That was the day. It was like, boom, done.
What was one of the things that stuck out to you where you were like, oh my
Well, I mean, listen,
God.
I'm going to say what I took away. You can go do whatever you want to do, and then you still want to watch it. So,
okay.
Rob, can you pull up the characters that were in it? Gives away the 25% to Diddy. That's his.
Threatening his life.
You have to sign off the 25% to. When they started Bad Boy, he puts 25 under his name, 75 under his mother's name. Diddy does. So 75% of the company's under his mother's name, 25% under his name. One day he comes up to him, fully ready to take this guy out, says, you have to sign off the 25% to me. He says, I'm not going to do it. He says, you have to do it. He forces him to sign up and gives away the 25% over to Diddy. Okay, gives away the 25% to Diddy. That's his.
Threatening his life?
He threatens his life, allegedly, to give up the 25%, which he ends up giving up to Diddy. And he says, I'm going to give it back to you. Never gives it back to him. And then later on, when he takes him to court to say, this is my 25%, the court says, no, you have mental issues. You're having challenges here. Sure. This is out of control. Boom. Diddy ends up keeping the 25%. Nothing ever happens. He never gets the 25% back. This is the guy that was doing all the deals, okay? But as you go through the story with him, and the stories of the girls and what happened, and
another evil genius businessman story. And I'm going to start this company with you, bro. I'll give you that ownership later.
how he became super famous was that basketball game in New York that he set up, that 9 people died, and he had to go in front of TV and explain the fact that I was trying to put together the greatest basketball game ever. It's called the City College Stampede. 9 kids died. Have you heard about the story?
No.
You've never heard about the story? Rob, can you just go online and type in this? This is how Diddy became famous.
What year was this?
This is Diddy's 19 years old. If you
I never heard of this story. Y'all heard of this before?
Just type in the City College. Yeah, this is 34 years ago, guys.
Wow.
Exactly 34 years ago. Go to a clip of it, Rob, if you can, just to show. Go to the cover of that page. Go to the cover of that. Look at that.
Oh my God.
8 crushed to death. And ends up becoming 9, by the way. Yeah, true story. But if you go and see if you can find a video, Rob, of what it looked like. If you type if you type in video. So everybody's coming to this game, all the major NBA, all the major rappers, everybody's, oh my God, it's going to be great. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. And then that image right there, go to that image right there with Diddy, bigger and bigger with podcast with he and I. And the way I did it on the board, and I put all the suspects of who could have been. And then he gets the recording and shows with Keefe D. Keefe D is the guy that was the boss who Diddy allegedly offered $1 million. They said, I'll take $1 million to take both of them out. And he's saying the recording, he's saying it to the feds. So right here, if you zoom in on this list, Rob, can you zoom in on the list?
Bro, PBD gets hard into all this stuff, man. In the early days of Valuetainment, he used to interview old gangsters, man. Pretty legit. But here they go through basically the story of Diddy basically allegedly, putting a hit on Tupac and then also later Biggie. And so he talks about it in his lyrics, kind of basically looks very speculative evidence, This is a great clip. If you're into this one, pull it up. Valuetainment, follow them on YouTube if you're not already following them. And then also, you can pull this up on the locals or on the locals feed or the X. But you should definitely check this documentary out, folks, because this story is pretty wild. I don't know if the documentary has this story.
Control F nice guy. Okay, right there. Look at it's 1999. No more Mr. Nice Guy. Been nice too long. I'm just gonna start making y'all
blank
disappear. Man, first I'm gonna take your records off the radio. Then I'm gonna erase your social security number. Take your birth certificate out flies. I'm gonna do your whole effing family. Ain't nothing but mercy. And then, by the way, in the lyrics, he says, I'll drop $1 million on your head to erase you.
Oh,
Yeah. So they're just kind of going through the lyrics where, the old days, like if, you've grown up with the whole rap thing going on, this was always a thing, right? Like they'd talk about doing crime, but then do the comedian thing where they're like, oh, it's just an act. It's just for entertainment. No, that's not really how I feel, or no, I didn't really do that thing. It's just entertainment. No big deal, nothing to see here, But I don't know, man. It looks like a lot of strange stuff been going on here.
He fires Diddy and tells Diddy, you can leave and you can take only one client. And guess who he takes? The only client he takes he says, you can take Biggie. Nobody else is coming with you. He allowed Diddy to leave with only Biggie, and that's when he starts Bad Boy, and he gives 25% to that guy and 75% to his mom.
Interesting.
This is the guy that mentored him. That's the guy everybody wanted to work for.
That's the 25% guy?
No, Andre Harrell is the founder of Uptown Records, which everybody was under. He mentored Diddy, and he's a legend in the game.
Diddy became bigger than him.
If you know Andre Harrell, he's like a legit G.
Yeah.
In this game.
Well, back to the Cassie thing. If you want to explore,
this guy signed Mary J. Blige, Guy, L.B. Sure, Notorious B.I.G., and Diddy.
Lyrics and be like, well, how literal are we going to take this? So this.
Oh man, it's tough to listen to him. He's like the Meg on the show. But yeah, very, very interesting. But we should definitely, I was going to say, how do we watch 50 Cent's new documentary? Oh, hold on. Oh, it's on Netflix? Boom, done. It's on Netflix. So if y'all got Netflix, man, pull it up. If you don't got Netflix, let me know if you need help watching the documentary. Sean Combs, The Reckoning is a sweeping examination of the hip hop mogul. It's called Sean Combs, The Reckoning. Okay, gonna have to check this out for sure. But yeah, so that's our homework for the week, folks. We're all gonna go and watch the 50 Cent Diddy documentary, and then we can talk about it more next week. How about it? Yeah, Mr. D1 is speculating that it does seem highly likely that maybe Mr. Diddy did create events that stopped Mr. Tupac and frickin' Biggie from being alive on the earth in this reality here. So, yeah. Oh, you was already watching it? Okay, bet. Mr. Deeds is on top of it, man. Looks like a tangled web of crazy shit, I tell ya. I tell ya. Oh, we got one from Mr. Sick at Home Dan, which, man, apparently he was too sick to hang out in the live chat, so we all got to make sure to remember to give him shit about it next week. Lame. Gotta hang out in the live chat, man. Gotta hang out with Miss Wilkinson and Mr. D1 over here. Ooh. We could do a live watch. We could do a live watch it on a Wednesday if you was down, Miss Wilkinson. That'd be fun. We can do a Truther Cast live watch. Sure, we'll get hit for copyright, so maybe we'll have to do it a private Truther Cast Triber live watch together of that Diddy documentary. What's it called? The Reckoning? Sean Combs, The Reckoning. Mr. Purple, what up, Mr. Purple? We don't know if Mr. Purple is spam or not, because I don't know who the heck an Alabama John is, man. But thanks for showing up in the live chat there, random Mr. Purple. Tucker Baggins and Gandalf Jones are at it again, finding the Lord of the Deep State. Okay. Mr. Dan is sharing some comic relief here for the episode. I'm sure.
And the globalists. Goblins hate 1776. George Soros, the Saruman of Middle-earth.
It's got to be narrated by Alex Jones. Yes.
Has a gay son.
You're late.
A wizard is never late. Tucker Baggins. He arrives precisely when his globalist research has concluded.
Wait, hold on. We got breaking news. So Mr. Dan is just too boomer to figure out how to get the damn Rumble app to work for him and comment, because it always gives him crap. So in his defense, it gives him crap. But it's funnier to blame it on him, right? But he does say he is watching. So okay. Good credit to Mr. Dan for watching and in his nice comic relief post here.
Ha 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 ha!
That's great, man. Yeah, dude. Like a lot of people talk about the AI stuff and like how people are going to use it, and it's 100% going to be a thing that people make movies with, like 110%, and it's only a matter of time. Because right now you can make maybe like 10 to 30-second clips with it or something. So all you'd have to do is like script out the movie and then just, keep typing in there and having it generate the scenes and then throw them together in an editing software and boom, you've got an AI movie. And then one day it'll just generate all the scenes in a nice software for you, and you won't need to make them all hacky, one by one. And it will literally be an AI movie software you'll sign up for and pay $100,000 a month, $100,000 or $1,000 a month probably, and the whole software will be designed for AI generating scenes and stitching them together and bobbity boop. The future is crazy, folks. Don't be scared of it though. You got to embrace the future, otherwise you are a boomer type Luddite yourself. So as us millennials get older, it will be interesting to see how we behave. Are we just going to be like our parents and bitch and moan about that new technology? Or will we just understand, it's just like when we grew up. It's just, part of life, and you got to figure out how to dodge it or use it, depending on which technology it is, man. Miss Wilkinson says, she's missing Mr. Dan on the rants. I would agree. We don't get no ranter in chief this episode. We'll have to get Mr. Dan back next week with Mr. Dieters. And we'll have multiple ranters. We'll have 3 capable ranters on the episode. That's always fun. We'll have to work on our not over talking each other though. That one's always a work in progress. I listened to last week's and it was pretty good, but as usual, you're gonna have natural overrunning of each other when you're talking. That'll happen. Up next for you, folks, I said, dang, Mr. Obama's financial director going to be possibly the first arrest with a conviction for cleaning out the corrupt deep state. I would only hope. I don't really care who it is. We do want to get the big named people, right? But I don't care who the hell gets arrested from this deep state system. But we got to get started somewhere, folks. Like, we got to get started somewhere and get some damn momentum going or something, right? Because this guy got caught trafficking millions of dollars to the Mexico cartel. And so if we could bring this guy down, man, maybe it'll be like a, thread to pull kind of thing. So the DEA's chief financial director under Obama, Mr. Paul Campo, who resigned in 2016 ahead of Trump's administration, had his Virginia home raided and has been charged for agreeing to launder $12 million? $12 million for the CJNG, a Mexican cartel, while acting in his role at the DEA. That's absolutely bonkers. So, man, that's crazy, folks. That's absolutely crazy. So just as many of us would speculate that these deep state people are, robbing America blind and doing nefarious acts and all that banana, right? So now we have literal evidence of this. So, I mean, like I said, man, all we can hope for is actual followed through accountability, because all of us are really getting sick of not having that accountability. And, some are starting to turn on Mr. Trump, man. Some people are starting to get a little bit, I'm not getting my arrest soon enough. Yeah, Mr. Dan did not have enough form energy, and that's why he didn't make it into the show, because that form energy wasn't fighting all the sickness. But god dang, man, let's take down this freaking Paul Campo guy and pull that thread, dude. And then if he was doing this, are you telling me Mr. Barack Obama had no idea? Well, let's investigate that and find out. And then, Mr. Obama can clear his name. But until then, I mean, doesn't the buck stop at the president, man? If this happened under Trump, everybody would say, oh, Trump was 100% in on it. Oh, Trump probably put him up to it. Oh, my God. Get Trump and put him in jail, too, God dang. $12 million to the Mexican cartel, bro. And we wonder why America is focusing on blowing up Venezuelan ships of drugs and not Mexico. It's almost like we're in bed with the damn Mexican cartel as well. But at least during this Trump administration, I'm getting kind of convinced that we're not, because they've been pushing back on the cartel as well and saying that, they might even go into Mexico to clear them out. But then, Mexico was like, oh, no, we don't want that, because Mexican government is basically in bed with the cartel, right? Maybe not by choice, but they were forced into it because they're weaker. And so that is one possible tricky thing that I kind of understood when I got older, is I used to be like 100% anti-American military. Oh, the military industrial complex, blah, blah, blah. Horrible when we go into these places and mess them all up and da-da-da. But an unescapable reality is that you have the biggest military, and then you do have the biggest stick. So, speak softly, carry big stick, my grandfather used to say. There was not sure who coined that originally, but, you carry the big stick, people leave you alone, or people listen to you, do what they should do. It's difficult, right? Gotta have a big ass military and, go around and, poke people sometimes to make them stay in line. But that's what we're all pissed about, right? It's like the policemen aren't carrying the big stick, and we're just letting criminals out, so they're going back out and doing things willy-nilly. So I used to be, very like, oh, the cops are bad. All they do is pull me over and arrest me, right? Well, now I'm pretty pro-cop, I stopped doing criminal things, and what do you know? I support the policing. So kind of likewise, man, you can grow up and you realize that, the military is kind of important. Miss Bondi is in the news here. I'm glad Mr. Dan was watching here, because I thought this one was interesting from last week when we were talking about Miss Pam Bondi not being popular with the 2A community. And then last week's story about her was she had a flop where she basically made an entire argument for like getting rid of guns in America. So the 2A community was just blasting her like way, way big, right? So now this week she made sure to come out with a clear statement for the 2A, right? So she says the Second Amendment is not a second-class right. After the prior administration's campaign to infringe on Americans' gun rights, the Justice Department is strongly committed to undoing the damage, including just last week filing our first ever Supreme Court brief arguing for public carry. Like, amen. Again, I don't know why we need laws to say that the constitutional laws should be applied, but here we are. This unit within the Civil Rights Division will advance President Trump's pro-Second Amendment agenda and protect the right to bear arms for all of us. It's a effing Second Amendment in the Constitution, man. Like, what? What do we need to protect these rights for? Like, just have the rights. But whatever. Again, here we are. So I mean, I do also wish. I wish I listened more closely to the 2A updates because they kind of go in my ear and out my other. So listening to Armored Scholar, he was saying that the Trump DOJ, I believe, because Justice Department, right? The Trump DOJ is actually pushing Supreme Court to take this case, I believe, about like constitutional carry, if you're familiar, for the whole entire nation. So there's a majority, over half, I think it's like 30 something, like 33, 34 states right now that have constitutional carry law, which is basically a law to say like the Second Amendment is a law. But all of these states are now chiming in and trying to get the Supreme Court to rule on that, I believe. And so that would be a very, very big, important deal. If we can get the Supreme Court to rule on like a constitutional carry for like, global, so that states, don't have as much trouble with this, I think that would be a very big win for the Trump administration. So hopefully we can see Miss Pam Bondi do something actually of, large scale here. And then, hopefully we can bring that home to the Trump MAGA win for this term, I guess. But that would be pretty awesome in my humble opinion. I think, you can look at the stats in the history, man. More guns in a community generally make criminals less. I still have not been convinced that if you have a world where, right now, right, you go into a restaurant and you're like, how many people have a gun? None of them, because, the restaurants are all like, don't have a gun. Well, what's the likelihood of a criminal to think they could get away with robbing that restaurant? They'd probably think it's like a, 80, 90% likely, right? But, hey, reverse this, right? You're in Texas, you go into a restaurant, you're like, how many people have a gun? Shit, it might be 20 to 30%, like maybe 15 to 30, say 15 to 30% of people have a gun. What's the likelihood of me coming out of this restaurant unscathed, unstopped, and not shot when I try to rob it? It's way lower than 90, 80%, right? It's probably like the opposite. It's probably 80 to 90% likely that I would get shot trying to rob this restaurant, since only 15 to 30% of people have guns. You see what I'm saying? I haven't been convinced that's not reality. That seems like reality to me. So open carry, constitutional carry, concealed carry, probably a great idea. I don't know. Everybody's scared more guns equals more dangerous things, or people just shooting things off willy-nilly. I mean, to have the guns and to do these things, taking classes, making sure we got some kind of a regulation system, that's not a terrible idea. We have a lot of those things in place, though, background checks, concealed carry classes and whatnot, right? But if we made this, more of a promoted culture of America again, I do believe everyone would feel safer. If kids were trained on guns at a young age, we would all be very knowledgeable about how these guns operate. And if we brought maybe, I don't know, like Christian values back in, like if we had values, at the core of, how to be like honorable, respectable, how to be a good human and be on point. Personal excellence is probably a good strategy, right? So call me crazy, but I think that would be a good idea, man. Bring back the morals, bring back the 2A trainings. And, I think you get a better, more polite society, they say, right? Like a more, I forget that phrase. It's like more guns, more polite society, something like that. So this one here is, into our, I am not a doctor, nor am I a medical professional. I am but a simple medical pleb. I am just someone who comments on medical situations, and this is in no case or comprehension a a medical recommendation. You please check with your doctor and decide which doctor's advice you want to listen to. But big news in the baby vaccine medical world, they are no longer going to recommend the Hep B vaccine. So that's interesting, right? Like all of a sudden we just don't need this after 30 years of corrupted science and unnecessary harm. This one's coming in from the Nicholas Holscher, that good old MPH, man. I followed him a couple weeks ago and he's got one for me a week, man. This is a great account to follow on X. Go and follow Mr. Nicholas Holscher, Hulscher, but follow Mr. Nicholas here on the X. He's Nick Holscher is his tag. But he works over at the McCullough Foundation. And Mr. McCullough, I think I missaid. Yeah, Peter McCullough? Yeah, Peter McCullough is the one that invented the mRNA, I'm pretty sure, right? Because Robert Malone was different. Or was Robert... Now I'm all confused. Was Robert Malone the one that invented it? But Mr. McCullough is a big... not mainstream kind of doctor guy too. But anyway, this is coming from one of his guys. But now all of a sudden they're just not recommending this Hep B vax, man. I don't know if it was a comment, but I saw one also. Is like the official the official reason why they were recommending the Hep B vaccine for kids wasn't like, oh, it's 100% a great idea for health things. It was like, we can't get adults to take the Hep B vaccine, so we're going to just start forcing children. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know about you, but that don't seem like a good explanation to me, man. Yeah, Wilkins saying, no biggie, we print more money for the funsies. Yeah, no big deal. Just print more money. But no longer does your kid need the Hep B vaccine. Look out. Why you should skip the flu shot. A lot of shit. That's not my recommendation to skip the flu shot. Ask your doctor. Figure it all out on your own after you built yourself a better news feed with Nicholas Holscher and Peter McCullough and Robert Malone and all these guys and other peoples. Dr. Berg's a good one. If you ain't following Dr. Berg on YouTube, you 100% should be doing that, man. He was getting censored during the COVID thing, so you know he's got the good intel. Mr. Makis on X is really good. Dr. Makis, he's the one that's talking about the ivermectin, fenbendazole, and the mebendazole being a potential solution to helping people fight cancer. I don't know if I'd call it a cure for cancer. They're antiparasitics, and right now the working theory is that it allows your body to then fight the cancer. So check out Mr. Dr. Makis over on X, especially if you know somebody you give a shit about that has cancer. Check that out, or hit me up, man, because I got his email one time for somebody I knew that was fighting cancer, and I tried to get them to link up with Mr. Makis to get a recommended regimen for them of the ivermectin, fenbendazole, and mebendazole, because apparently it's like, you know, everybody's different. So it's like, oh, maybe it's these two or these two, you know, not all three, and what kind of dose or whatever. But of course, it's something the mainstream medical system wouldn't like because all three of them are just antiparasitics that are off patent. So I mean, like your process of, you know, fighting cancer would be probably a lot cheaper if we had 3 off patent antiparasitics that would allow you to take other medicines that would fight and hurt, you know, get rid of the cancer or allow your body to heal from this cancer, and maybe skip expensive chemotherapy. I don't know. Maybe it allows chemotherapy to work easier, and then you don't need to take it long enough to where your hair don't fall out. Who knows, right? The doctors know. Anyway, what do we got next here? I said, I didn't even hear the false flag deep state narrative that this dude was a Trump supporter. And I just heard that he was a black dude, and I immediately thought, oh, they found some guy to be a Patsy Fall guy. So that way, when the Team MAGA starts crying foul, they'll just be like, oh, you're racist, right? So this guy came out last week, right? And allegedly is the FBI found 100%. We have got the evidence. We tracked his phone. You know, we got like his license plate, and you know, this is the J6 bomber guy, right? And then it was the mainstream, lamestream news that came out and said, oh, he's a MAGA Trump supporter. Well, now, folks, we've got the family actually coming out saying, not so much. This one's coming in from the great Benny Johnson. You should be following on YouTube to build a better news feed, folks. Benny Johnson on the X or the YouTube. Follow him.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. We have now gone from strange to even stranger with the pipe bomber confessing to federal authorities that he did indeed plant the pipe bombs on January 6th. So now not only do you have a full confession, you have motive. He says that he's a Trump supporter. What? He says that he was mad about this whole election and that he was trying to take vengeance or something out. But, I mean, this is wild. So let me just start from the beginning what we are now expected to believe, that this young black man who has absolutely no prior connection as far as we know to President Trump or the MAGA movement, somebody who has scant, if any, digital footprint at all, was totally radicalized, even though his family, which he works for in a bail bonds company that does bail bonds for criminal aliens, his family, which has sued the Trump administration multiple times, and then sued the Biden administration for racism, which is, you know, obviously coded in left-wing ideology. And
well, at least they're, you know, non-discriminatory lawsuiters. They're just, you know, trying to make money off the government, right? They sued the Biden admin, right?
And social justice activism and racial justice activism. That this individual, this allegedly loner individual, was so angry and so upset about the 2020 election results that he made bombs, but then he started buying the bomb parts like years before he ever planted the bombs. What is that? What the hell's going on?
Dude, that just seems so sketch, man. I don't know.
I mean, the confession, I suppose, is a good thing. That begins to now narrow the window as to who.
But man, you work for a bail bonds company that's trying to get illegal immigrants out, and you're telling me you were a Trump supporter?
Good morning, Anna. My colleague Carol Lenig and I have learned from multiple sources that this suspect has essentially confessed to planting the bombs, and he's told FBI agents that he is a supporter of Donald Trump. But they've also gathered evidence that he has anarchist leanings. And so what they're saying is the motive here, the drivers of this act, are not entirely.
So I'm biased because my timeline was I grew up being young, stupid, liberal behaving, or like, you know, aligned-ish with like the ideals, right? Very hippy dippy. And then later I, you know, like Trump because the whole entire deep state media was against him. So I was like, oh, he must not be one of the puppets. He must actually be like, you know, trying to fight against the mainstream deep state system, which then in liking Trump over the 8 years plus now, I've become the opposite of an anarchist. So I find it very difficult to believe that this man was an anarchist and Trump supporter.
Clear, and they're expressing caution about drawing any conclusions about any of this information. They say that they have assessed that he has antisocial tendencies. Remember, he lived alone.
Yeah, right, dude. Every assassin was a registered Republican, right? And then what was the one? Was it the Butler guy? What was the one where the roommate came out and did a news, you know, interview, and then like read this text off allegedly from the shooter man, and then was all like, yeah. Oh, and he liked Trump so much, and I can't believe he did this. Oh man, and it was like, I don't know. I'm tinfoil biased, so I was like, oh, that guy's paid to say that. He like a paid actor, or he was actually the guy's roommate, but then he was paid. Was it the shooter that took out was it a Minnesota representative, right, or something like that? But yeah, all of a sudden, all the shooter bad guys happen to be Republican and Trump supporting allegedly, right? It doesn't check out.
with his parents. Neighbors have described him as quiet and shy. So a lot remains unclear. But the key thing is that he's confessed. They appear to have solved this case after 5 long years of trying to gather evidence on it.
So, Tom, your reaction to this new reporting, an apparent confession?
Bro, if I'm the FBI, I feel like it is so easy to figure out who somebody is at a video. Like, can't you just like AI scan the person walking and then be like, start scanning all the like video feeds and find out where we got somebody that walks like this or something like that? Like, I feel like walking is a fingerprint kind of thing, man. Like, everybody walks a little bit differently, right?
So, Tom, your reaction to this new reporting, an apparent confession?
I'm not surprised. When you look at the affidavit that was filed in court yesterday, they had an overwhelming amount of evidence that linked this individual to this crime. That not only his purchasing history, but they had his phone pinging on cell towers in that area during that time. And then the icing on the cake was they had a license plate reader that came off of one of the interstates that comes right up to the Capitol, and had his license plate passing through that license plate reader on that day as well. So when typically when you're going to interview a suspect in a case, you'll present some of the evidence, not all of it, but some of the evidence that you have, which oftentimes makes them think they've got me, I might as well confess. So I think that when presented with all of this, my guess is he knew that he was caught.
Mark, Brian Cole Jr. is going to be in federal court this afternoon. What are we expecting?
Well, cameras are not allowed in federal court, but we'll have a team inside. They're going to give us the step-by-step.
So we'll get more news about this one. I haven't seen anything more yet. So, story in progress. But, I guess this is continued from last week because we were talking about the break in the story last week, right?
Out saying, at least last night, about what we're going to get.
Trace, you're going to learn a lot more about him coming up in the next 24 hours because what's going to happen is he's going to make his first court appearance. He's going to have to be arraigned, and he's going to have to be subjected to the formal charging process. And once that happens, we'll be able to speak more clearly to the public about what we found. But what I'll remind the audience is this suspect was just 25 years old at the time of the alleged pipe bomb incident. Not an old person at all. Not someone with extensive history necessarily in the criminal justice system, but I think what we'll find in the coming days, maybe even just by
I mean, it's not hard to have a lot of criminal history by the time you're 25.
tomorrow is the amount of resources that you have to put into this. Generally speaking, and not stylizing the evidence in this case, you got to go out and buy pipes. You got to go out and buy end caps. You got to go out and buy sulfur. You got to go out and buy wires. Then you got to figure out how to put that all together successfully. And remember, thankfully, these devices didn't go off, but they could have gone off. They were ready to go off. And so that was a disaster that was averted.
That's something that I found interesting because I don't know about, correct me if I'm wrong. What is your memory of the story about the bombs, guys? Because I thought I was told they were like dud bombs. That's what I heard come out when it all went down. I heard that they were like dud bombs anyway. And then that's what fed into, our tinfoil belief that the bomb thing was a false flag event, kind of like staged by deep state system or something like that. But now we have Cash himself, alleging that the bombs were fully capable of going off.
Thankfully, saving the lives of, hundreds of people around the United States Capitol. And so that's what we were able to hone in on as investigators and FBI.
But dude, the other thing about him being a Trump supporter, allegedly, like if you're a Trump supporter and you're pissed off about the bad guys taking the election, only a crazy person would do these kind of things anyway, I guess. So you're trying to think, how does a crazy person think? Which is, difficult or impossible. But why would you go and drop this thing over at this place where it's going to hurt other Trump supporters or something like that?
agents in the field let out on that and said, let's go figure out who's buying this stuff and how they're using it and how they're learning how to do it. And I think you're going to get a lot more information.
It's horrifying. I don't know what they were doing. I can tell you what happened, though, when we got there, the director and I. My first meeting, I swore in, and I kid you not, probably 15 minutes later, and the people who are in the meeting know, I said, when I get in there, I want a full brief on this pipe bomber case on day one. And I looked at the case agent after getting a full brief on what they'd done, and they had done a pretty extensive amount of work. They had chased down, I think, thousands of leads, 6,000 plus interviews had been conducted, hundreds of tips, and it still was relatively stale, the case. And I grabbed the case agent on the way out, and I said, "You're going to get me this guy. You're going to track this guy down, and you're going to find him. You're going to get me this guy. I want him." And that started what's been almost a 9-month operation right now to make sure that we could get full accountability and transparency.
You know, so that 9-month operation to find the truth. So if we are to believe these guys, you know, let's just in a world. So like this is the guy, right? For an example of how long things take, it took 9 months for them to find this guy. So, like, son of a bitch. We all want things way faster and instantaneous, and some people are losing Trump support because, oh, they're not going fast enough. Some of them we know need to happen fast. Like, we need to get executive orders and laws that we like, that are pro-America and yada, yada, that Trump has done. We need to get these things codified still. And so I just saw a post, earlier this morning from Mr. Byron Donalds, representative out of Florida, and he was promoting getting rid of the filibuster because, hey, how are we going to get all these things codified that Trump's doing? Like, they're not going to get codified in the law if we still have this filibuster in place. So Mr. Byron was talking about getting rid of the damn filibuster again, which I'm a little bit uneducated about the filibuster thing, but in general, I do believe we probably need to get rid of it and push through a bunch of the laws that we believe in right now, that we believe our team is in charge. And, it seems dictatorial pushing through laws and stuff. Nah, dude, the guy was voted in. The law thingies need to happen. And then maybe we'll come up with a new concept of a filibuster if we need some kind of a checks and balances again, in the House, but for now, it seems like a lot of us believe getting rid of filibuster would be a good idea, and making the executive orders all into law is what we need to do. All us crazy. So continuing from last week again, I guess there's a lot of, kind of like I was saying last week's. So, mean tweet Trump is at it again. And he doubles down on calling Mr. Tim Walz the R word.
We got this from the New York Post. Trump doubles down on calling Governor Tim Walz retarded. There's something wrong with him. Do they actually have the audio in this video right here?
Tim Walz, and you called him what many Americans do find offensive or retarded. Do you stand by that claim of calling Tim Walz?
Is that the word?
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with it. You have a problem? You know what? I think there's something wrong with it. Anybody that would do what he did, anybody that would allow those people into the state and pay billions of dollars out to Somalia. We give billions of dollars to Somalia. It's not even a country because it doesn't function like a country. It's got a name, but it doesn't function like a country. Yeah.
President Trump has defended calling Democratic Minnesota Governor Tim Walz seriously retarded.
I mean, yeah, freaking words, right? It's got bad stigmas and stuff, but, it's not like, you're calling the person the handicap. I don't know. Anyway, the guy's just saying things like, telling it like it is again, and doubled down on Tim Walz being handicapped. But God bless, I think we all kind of agree that Tim Walz is probably handicapped, right? Because he sure didn't stop none of this Somali fraud going on. I saw an interesting concept earlier today about that, right? So we'd make all of these efforts for these Somalis, And now they're getting into power, in places. You got that Dearborn, Michigan, where it's like super, Muslim. And I don't know if it's Somali Muslim, but the Somalis have certainly taken over in Minnesota since they were all refugees shipped over to, evade their terrible, terrible life in Somalia. So they were all shipped into Minnesota, and now they're taking power. We got the Ilhan Omar, and we got all this, all the Somali people who are not committing fraud and that were committing fraud. But there's like 2 million Vietnamese people, right, in America. That's not a lot. So in 350, maybe off the books, 400 million people in America, there's only 2 million Vietnamese people, and they weren't bitching and moaning and crying and complaining for special treatment and all this kind of stuff, right? But the Somali people were. And so there's probably even less Somali people than Vietnamese people, right? Vietnamese people been coming here for a long ass time. Right? They've been coming around long enough that we've got like American pho, right? Like everybody likes going to get some pho, or pho if you're American, right? But we got pho restaurants everywhere. We got like 3 in Rockford. Vietnamese people everywhere. They weren't looking for all this crazy special treatment like the Somali people. I don't know, man. Oh, shoot. Who was the guy that did the India poop documentary? I think his name's Tyler something, right? So he did, by the way, end up dropping the poop documentary. Tyler Oliveria?
So much shit.
So he said he wasn't going to drop the poop documentary because the Indians were threatening his life and doxing him and his parents. But it looks like he did drop the full-length shit documentary of the one, it's not all of India, the one little neighborhood down in India that celebrates cow poop. Because, religion and stuff. But anyway, I watched a good video of this guy. So you should follow this dude on the YouTube, right? So Tyler Oliveria, you should definitely, I'm on the Truthercast YouTube. So we'll give him more subscribes. But he made a going over to Minnesota documentary.
How was life here in Minneapolis?
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, ya Allah.
This is Little Mogadishu, Minneapolis, the unofficial capital of the 100,000 plus Somalis that have made Minnesota their home, fleeing the war-torn Somalia since the 90s, and attracted by Minnesota's refugee programs, job opportunities, a generous welfare system, pre-existing Somali community, and the welcoming, hospitable Minnesotan spirit. But not everyone wants them here.
Somalians ripped off that state for billions of dollars. Their country stinks.
The president says he doesn't want any Somalis living in the U.S. after a few dozen were implicated in a COVID relief fraud case. I got nothing.
I don't think Trump said he didn't want any Somalis in the States. I feel like that was a little...
To do personally, I've been working all my life hard.
They believe the fraud could extend beyond $6.5 billion just in the time period where Tim Walz has taken office. 78 people have been charged at this point. 77 of them are small.
With an estimated $1 billion plus stolen from wealth.
The one lady that wasn't Somali allegedly, I believe, is a regular old white lady who was running the entire the entire fraud thing, I believe.
Welfare programs designed to feed the hungry, housing stabilization, and treat autistic kids. Is this the result of a few evil fraudsters who happen to mostly be Somali? Or is it the work of a city and state's leadership bending the knee to an increasingly growing community of tribally loyal refugees that have refused to assimilate, have worked together as a community to exploit generous welfare programs, and have not been held accountable due to the fear of spineless politicians being called racist and potentially losing the votes of the Somali community they know they'll need to get reelected?
Somali people have been an extraordinary benefit.
They contribute nothing. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you.
Anyone who looks like me are scared.
The criminals, not just Somalians. I mean, like it's hard to when you're on the public eye to watch every little L and every little P that you say, but But check this one out, man. Follow this Tyler Oliveria. He is kind of like a guy on the street, citizen journalist, I'd call it, right? Definitely check out this this video and some of his other ones. Other honorable mentions of Mr. Tyler Oliveria is he did a lot of went over to like France, I believe it was, and he was trying to like expose these scammers. This one's in Barcelona, Spain. But yeah, he goes and like exposes these scammers that are basically just like taking advantage of tourists and then calls them out and stuff. But then, you know, hey, they don't like that, right? So then they go to fight him. So then he paid for a security guard, and like, it's like one of those, like, you know, he's doing like good work / it's content, right? So he making some content, but it's, you know, calling out these tourists and maybe seeing if he can help people out in the area that are also trying to be activists to stop the scammers and, you know, help locals or tourists be safe. So maybe he's helping them out, you know, bringing out, you know, more awareness, right? As we say on the show, the more awareness helps with the realization. So bringing more awareness to the scammer problem out here in these other countries. But these videos were very entertaining to me. You might like them as well. So go check out that Tyler Oliveria on the YouTube. Very, very interesting. Yeah, man. But the Somali fraud, ridiculous. And like, you know, you don't got to make it like a big race problem. It's not like every single Somali. But hey, all of them in this little area of Minnesota seem to be committing frauds. What was it, 77 out of the 78? Or Somalis doing fraud? Probably should be, you know, brought up some accountability, right? The next one I got for you. More problems starting up. More problems stacking up. That's what I think that meant to say. Missing C there. For Mr. Tim Walz, will we see the accountability, though? Like I was just saying, will we see the damn accountability? Just one day after 400 brave employees of Minnesota DHS exposed massive fraud, the U.S. Department DOT, I don't know what that one is, the U.S. DOT has discovered that 1/3 of non-domiciled CDLs were illegally issued. So that means, oh, I don't have a house, but I need a CDL. So I need a driver's license to drive big truck, right? 1/3 of them were issued completely illegally. That's crazy. So this right here is Mr. Secretary Sean Duffy, and he is saying that Minnesota, you're on notice. You've got 30 days to fix this or lose $30 million in federal funding. I don't even understand how we could give them that kind of a, you know, hey, you can fix this. I guess it's like give you a chance to like prove that the 1/3 wasn't illegal, I guess. I don't know. Call me crazy. It's probably a non-zero number of the 1/3 that were illegal. Were probably illegal. So maybe some of them they could fudge around and, oh, actually, those were illegal. But I'd be willing to bet a large number there were still illegal no matter what. So will we see accountability for Mr. Tim Walz and his support staff illegally issuing CDLs to people? I am wondering what the illegal details are. So is this okay? So this is the original story breaker that the Secretary Duffy was resharing. So this is Mary, and she's got a couple quotes here. Our audit exposes yet another example of foreigners taking advantage of Minnesota services under Governor Tim Walz. Okay, so are we being led to believe that the 1/3 of illegal CDLs are likely criminal aliens that came to Minnesota that are possibly of Somali, you know, like heritage? Minnesota failed to follow the law and illegally doled out trucking licenses to unsafe, unqualified non-citizens, endangering American families on the road. That abuse stops now under the Trump administration. Amen. Man, if making speaking English fluently isn't already a good idea for like people coming over here and becoming citizens. I mean, at minimum should be a requirement for like driving around trucks and shit, right? Like you got to be able to read the road signs and, you know, understand directions and orders from the boss. Like you probably have to speak fluent English, broken fluent English at minimum to be driving around commercial trucks. I don't know. Call me crazy. How do you get the CDL, man, if you can't speak English? It's a, you know, that one, you know, I can't figure that one out. Let me know if you figured that one out, but legally, because we all know how it happens illegally. They just go like, yeah, sure. Back to our, I am not a medical professional, so please seek your doctor's independent advice. But we got breaking. Our new study finds that mRNA vaccines unleashed widespread silent heart damage. Oh no, this is from last week. Yeah, so is that the last one? That might be the last one then. Yeah, that was the last one, because that was from last week. The mRNA vaccines unleash widespread silent heart damage. And then just to recap it, I guess, since I mentioned it, if you missed last week, folks, from our Nicholas Hulsher guy working with the McCullough Foundation, they have potentially found the cause and the cure for treatment, you know, maybe not like just immediate cure, but they found the cause and the treatment for the sudden death syndrome that people speculate is caused from the COVID vaccine. It could just be from COVID, but more and more of these independent doctors and these studies are starting to show that long COVID, quote, is actually just vaccine injury. Could be, you know, a long-term vaccine injury. And one would imagine it's probably less likely to have these problems if you took less of the booster vaccines and more if you took more of the booster vaccines. But these medical professionals are showing us the studies about possibly treating what was causing all that pericarditis and having, you know, a lot of the athletes just, you know, suddenly keel over, which is definitely not cool, man. So something to check out. Definitely go follow these people on the X, on the YouTubes, or wherever you are hanging out. But yeah, man, I guess that's it. That's all I got. Any honorable mentions from the live chatters? Anybody hanging out still? Got anything that you thought was interesting or important from last week that needs more awareness? That is all I got. And then apparently, man, I'm gonna be watching that 50 Cent documentary on Wednesday. So hit me up somewhere, man. Like drop a comment at Mastache on the Twitter. You know, join that locals community. Let me know if y'all want to do like a private watch party of the, you know, the 50 Cent documentary on Wednesday. That would be fun to do a Truther Cast private stream, because we probably can't just stream the whole movie because copyright stuff. But perhaps, you know, since I do have a show, it would be, what is it, fair use copyright? So, you know, as long as I like muted it, you know, we might miss some things or paused it, you know, and commentated on it. It would be an adaptation of the media. And then we could circumvent any copyright issues and should be allowed for us to stream it. So hit me up at Mastache on the X, you know, the Mastache of Insights Facebook page. If you're a Facebooker, you can follow us at the Mastache of Insights. You can find all these things on the website, you know, so you just head on over to truthercast.com right here. And then we got all these handy dandy links for you. You scroll down and you'll see where they go. Oh, I've passed them. You got the locals, you got the Rumble, you got the X, and you got the Facebook. So follow us there. Shoot me a message. Let me know if you're into a live stream of that Diddy documentary, and we can all watch and talk shit together. That would be very, very fun. I think it'd be a very, very fun. Some updates to the live. Does this work? Yeah, that works. Cool. Get some updates to the live page today for a little bit of SEO. So hopefully that comes up. That comes up in the old live chat there, or the search box. Hopefully it comes up better in the Google search for people. But yeah, thank you very much for chiming in, or for showing up here. Thank you very much to the live chat for chiming in today. But that is a wrap here on the show, man. So you know, couple ways to help keep the lights on. You know, you got that signup.toleratetech.com. That'll help you out. You know, so spend some money on yourself. But it helps keep the lights on around here, and I'll help you protect that computer and help you stay sane and not pissed off and punching screens, you know, for your computer or other technology. But I'd love to be your tech guy. You can join the Truther Tribers Primo Squad. You can join in there and pay me a couple dollars to help keep the lights on. You can save a few dollars there if you use the promo code BetterNewsFeed over on the Locals community. But the free way, folks, is to make sure that you ain't no hoe and you share that show, baby. So share the show out to somebody you know, a family, a friend, maybe it's a coworker, somebody that, you know, maybe needs a little bit more, you know, alt news in their life. Maybe they need some help building a better news feed. So share that show out, do your part for the week. We'll check in next week and see if you are a hoe. But otherwise, God bless y'all. Have a great night, and we'll see you maybe Wednesday, if not next week, folks. And I guess we only got the one tonight. So we only got the one. And then, you know, maybe if Dan was still here, he'd be like, all right, all right, all right, all right.
Oh.